gentlemen, we have on the dais with us Dr. Pankaj Mittal, who serves as the Secretary General of the Association of Indian Universities. Ma'am, may I invite you to kindly give your address.
So a very good evening to all of you. Thanks to Hemant for inviting me here, and thanks also for ensuring that the hall is full. When he called me for valedictory, I said, Hemant, शाम को तो कोई होता ही नहीं है, खाली chairs पे बात करना पड़ेगा. He says, नहीं, I will ensure कि पूरा hall full होगा. So thanks for ensuring that. The topic of today's conversation, Viksit Bharat through digital transformation or technology. I feel Viksit Bharat is not possible without digital transformation. Viksit Bharat ke liye. Is there anybody who doesn't understand Hindi here? There could be some? Okay, then I'll continue in English. Otherwise, if there's an audience who understands Hindi, I love to speak in Hindi because Hindi में दिल से दिल की बात होती है, अपनी भाषा है. But then if there is a constraint, तो English भी आती है, तो English में भी कर सकते हैं. So okay. So Viksit Bharat, I say, is not possible without digital transformation, and that is a fact which was recognized by the National Education Policy, which laid a lot of emphasis on digital transformation, use of technology, I mean, there's a special forum called National Education Technology Forum. For the first time, this type of a forum has been built in India. Dr. Anil Sahasrabudhe, I'm sure he was here in the morning. So he spoke, he's the chairman of that forum. So the government itself is saying, yes, without use of technology, we cannot think of Viksit Bharat. So we, like my parent office has been University Grants Commission. We at University Grants Commission have been advocating the use of technology for a long, long time. Teachers were not adhering to that, and then came the COVID. And when COVID came, and all the universities, colleges were closed, and the students and teachers were sitting at home, that is when it clicked to the teachers that without technology we cannot work. And hats off to all our teachers. Overnight, they transformed. They started teaching online, and all the classes were running online, all the students were studying online. Of course, the efficacy was not there because they were very new to it. And before that, like in UGC, we used to have a program called EPG Pathshala, in which we used to have a e-content for all the programs. At the UG level, CEC was doing, at the PG level, UGC was doing, but there was not much traction. And then we switched over to Swayam. EPG Pathshala was an open education resource, and Swayam was a MOOCs platform, India MOOCs platform, where structured MOOCs courses were there, but there was not much of traction. But as soon as COVID came, Swayam got the biggest traction, and that also prompted UGC to increase the limit. I mean, in every program, it was said that 20% of the program can be delivered through online mode. But after COVID, 20 became 40. So 40% of the programs right now can be delivered through online mode. But the challenge we faced while we were developing Swayam was, like when we choose the best teacher, and the best teacher, we used to tell them make a e-content, make a video. So the best teachers, they used to fumble in front of the camera. We asked them, you're teaching so well in the class, what happens to you in front of the camera? He says, when we teach in the class, we come to know the reaction of the students. Even if they don't speak, their eyes speak, their face speak, their body speaks. So we are able to know whether the students are understanding or not understanding. But in front of a camera doesn't speak, no emotions, nothing, we just don't come to know. So we feel very odd in talking to a camera or teaching a camera for preparing the video content. So for the best teachers also, we had to conduct a training session from IIM Bangalore. They taught them how to face the camera, how to make the animations, how to make interesting short videos, not like a newspaper reader just sitting and delivering the content, how to make it attractive. So all that was taught to us. So even the best teachers needed training. So when we talk of digital content today, what I say is that training is something, capacity building of teachers is something which is very, very important. And unless we do the capacity building of the teachers, we are not going to leverage the benefit of technology. And then came the AI. So when AI came, now the biggest the headache of the teachers was कि बच्चों को असाइनमेंट देते हैं और वो सारा चैट जीपीटी से करके आते हैं. व्हाट डू वी डू विद इट? हाउ डू वी इवैल्यूएट विच इज़ द बेस्ट स्टूडेंट, विच इज़ नॉट द बेस्ट स्टूडेंट? So in one of the conferences we had, we do many conferences on AI from AIU. We even did master classes for vice chancellors on AI so that they know how much AI can be used for teaching, learning, research, governance. So all the vice chancellors come with laptops, and it is a hands-on experience for the vice chancellors to learn how to use AI. So one of the speakers says, I used a very innovative way of using AI for the assignment. So he told his students, I'm giving you this assignment, do this assignment using AI, but I should not come to know that you have used AI. So make it non-AI and then bring it to me, and if I come to know that you have used AI, I will give you 0 marks. So the students said, okay. So all the students, whole night they were working, making it non-AI, humanizing the AI-created assignment. So when the next day the assignment is submitted, the teacher sees the first assignment. Oh, such a beautiful English, perfect grammar, perfect English. You cannot even write a simple English sentence. You have used AI, throw 0 number. Then he takes the second assignment, he says, such complex equations in the class, you don't even understand simple equations. So that means you have used AI, thrown 0 number. So he kept on rejecting all the assignments, giving one or the other reason. And he says, you have used AI, you could not, I have come to know that you have used AI, therefore I'm giving you 0 marks. So next day, when that topic was taken up for teaching, he says, the children knew much more because in the process of making it non-AI, they had learnt a lot. So that teacher used AI in an innovative manner, in such a manner that they are using AI and learning in the process. Similarly, there are many, many more ways in which students can use AI to learn rather than to copy or cheat. So that is the quality of the teacher, that how the teacher makes it that way. So that is something which we have to do. Similarly, when we talk of personalized learning, in a class in India, we have a class of 100, 200, 150. A teacher teaches at the average level. So when they teach at the average level, the students who are above average, they find it very boring. The students who are below average, they say, I'm not able to understand. But the teacher cannot go to the level of each and every student and teach at their level. But using AI, now he or she can. So in the first instance, maybe the common lecture is given to all, and when the assessment is done, self-assessment of the students is done on this single lecture, every student replies in a different manner, and by analyzing the way every student has given the reply, the AI tool understands the level of each student, and the next assignment or the next lecture which goes to each student is different. So every student learns at his or her own pace. So that is personalized learning, which is now possible through AI. Yesterday I met one Nishan Kapoor, he was running a company. He says, using AI now, they can assess the handwritten copies of the students, and the grading can be done with a complete analytics that for this question, you have written this answer, this could have been better by this way, and that is why I am giving you these many marks and you deserve these marks. So this type of activities are now possible using AI, but unless we do the capacity building of our teachers, unless we tell them that how to use it, they will not be able to know. Like they will not be able to use it to the optimum level. So therefore, at Association of Indian Universities, which is the largest university network in the world, we have around 1,200 universities as our members, both Indian, foreign, and some autonomous colleges. So we have set up some what we call as AADCs, Academic and Administrative Development Centers, where we are running courses throughout the year, something like 43 AADCs we have set up. And if there are universities here and if they want to set up AADCs, do let us know. We will be very happy to set up AADC in your university. Or if you want to send your teachers for training in these AADCs, then also you are welcome. They are all available on the AIU website. So in these AADCs, the courses are not on subject. They are basically only on one aspect, how to use technology for teaching, learning, research, and governance. How to use AI, how to use this personalized learning, how to do the assessment using AI, how to make research simplified using AI. even for administrator, how to do the e-governance of the universities using AI. So all these steps we are taking, but in my opinion, in the end I will say that three important things which are required is, first and foremost, capacity building of the teachers through various modes. Second, ensuring good infrastructure. Infrastructure is there in terms of, computers and all, but bandwidth is very, very important. High-speed network, and mind it, India is having the lowest cost for the network in the world. So high-speed network, even in the remote areas, that is the second necessity. And third is curriculum. Many of our universities don't change the curriculum for years together. So by the time the student comes out after completing the graduation or post-graduation, he is already obsolete because the curriculum is obsolete. And then again, in one of the conference, we were told that half-life of knowledge, especially in engineering and technology, half-life of knowledge means the time frame in which half of the knowledge becomes redundant. In engineering and technology, it is becoming 5 months. Means in 5 months, half of the knowledge becomes redundant. That means we have to revise the curricula every 3 months. So are we doing it? Are our universities doing it? So it is very important to revise the curricula, do the capacity building of the teachers, ensure adequate infrastructure, including adequate bandwidth, and then only we can think of leveraging, the benefit which the technology can give for Viksit Bharat. And one or two tips which our AI people gave us: never buy a AI tool for a yearly subscription, because within a year that will become obsolete. Go in for only monthly subscription. And second tip, AI uses a lot of energy. So don't say thank you, please, because every word is processed in AI when you do the processing, when you give the prompt. So don't be very courteous with AI. Just in minimum words, give the prompt and you will get the correct answer. Thank you very much. Thanks, Hemant, for inviting me here. Thank you.